So namaste everyone. Good morning Houston. Good evening India. Nice to meet you all. Sorry for the last time I was caught up in something and I couldn't meet you all. But here we are, and today we are going to learn more deeper. We are going to venture more deeper into chakra meditation, and today we'll be learning about the auras, the sheets, which are known as the koshas in Sanskrit. So everything, as you know, is connected. So you must have learned, like we keep saying, mentioning that the aura of this person is very good, or aura of that person is not bad. They give me negative energy, or they give me positive energy, or I feel good in their company, and they give me very positive vibrations. I get. So how do you get it? It's from the aura. And we have aura around us, which are connected with the chakras. So we have 7 chakras. So basically, people who can read aura, they can actually see the aura, the sheath of aura around us in the 7 colors, the 7 rainbow color, which is connected with your chakras. So actually, we have it around our body, and they are all connected. So when you meditate in a group, what happens? Why the meditation in a group is more effective, and you go deeper into meditation when you do it in a group, because when you meditate, any kind of meditation, your aura, which is already around you, start expanding. It expands. And when you are doing it in a group, so everybody's aura mingles with each other. And once that happens, it becomes a universal aura or universal consciousness. And you are in that. And that's the reason in a group, meditation is much, much more powerful and more effective. That's the reason it has been said, if you in a house, if both husband, wife, and the kids are learning, make it a point to do it together. If not every day, once in a week at least, and see the effect, what it can do. So today we are going to learn about that aura. What is it? How is it connected with the chakras? And what exactly it is? Like, as I spoke to you earlier, that we have 3 bodies. That is our physical body that you all can see. Then in that physical body, who runs that physical body? It's our subtle body. What comes under subtle body? Your chakras, your senses, your work organs, all of it, and your mind. It's a part of your subtle body. And subtle body actually runs or controls your physical body. Now, what controls our subtle body? Subtle body is controlled by a causal body. Causal body is known as the Karan Sharir. What is that Karan Sharir? Karan Sharir is actually, you can term it as Atma, which is the part of that Paramatma, the divine being. We all have divinity inside in the form of the soul, and this soul runs your subtle body. Subtle body runs your physical body. Now, aura is connected with all of it. How it is connected, you have to learn it. So Ravi, can we have the first video? What is aura or kosha? Aura is known as kosha in Sanskrit. So can we have the first video so that people understand exactly what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Thank you.
The principal composition of the human body is made of 5 sheaths, which can be termed as vessels or koshas. Just as a pillow cover is a covering or a sheath for the pillow, just as a scabbard is a sheath for the sword or the dagger, the pranas, mind, causal body are sheaths that covers the Atma or the soul. These 5 distinct energy bodies or koshas vibrate at different speeds. These interacting and overlapping layers of energy form the complete spiritual, mental, and physical nature of the human personality. These energy sheets portray our personalities as permeating different fields of energy and consciousness. Yoga tells us that we evolve through the koshas as our awareness deepens and expands. And that is a matter of karma and free will. Each kosha signifies a more refined dimension of consciousness, and the koshas are known as Annamay Kosh, Pranmay Kosh, Manomay Kosh, Vigyanmay Kosh, and Anandmay Kosh. Maya means composed of. So these sheets are composed of food, energy, intellect, intuition, and bliss. The first 2 sheets equate to the physical body.
Okay. Now, what have we got? So, our soul is covered with these sheets. So, the very first sheet is known as the Annamoy, which is in contact with our uh, physical body. Physical body, which need Annamay is the food body, or you can say the physical body. Which you can see and you can relate to. Okay, and this body is governed by your Muladhara chakra, Swadhisthana chakra, and Manipur chakra. Now, so many times you must have heard that I mentioned that a lot of people, they take birth in these 3 chakras and they die. They don't go. Their Chetna Shakti or their consciousness doesn't expand and go beyond it. They remain throughout their life. They take birth and they remain in the consciousness of these 3 chakras. So consciousness means they remain, their conscious level remain in this Annamay Kosha. It doesn't go beyond that. That's what it means. And most of us, a lot of us, in fact, you can say 70% or 70 to 80% of us remain under the conscious layer of Annamay Kosh and Pranamay Kosh. Pranamay and Annamay, what are they? We'll be talking about it. So these 3 chakras, that is your Swadhisthana, Manipur, and your Muladhara chakra controls this Annamay Kosh. Now, what is that? You must learn it. But first, understand one thing. Your soul is there. How you see an onion? The seed is there, and seed is covered in different layers. In the same way, our Atma, our soul, is very precious. And it is covered in these layers of things. What are the layers? The layer is the Annamay Kosh, then the Pranamay Kosh. What is the Pranamay Kosh? Pran is the breathing pattern that we do. Prana. We keep talking about the prana. What is prana? We are alive because of that energy, that prana. So prana is that the second layer of us to our soul. That is the Pranamay Kosh. Then Manomay Kosh. Under Manomay, it is our physical mind. So we are slave of the physical mind and the intellect mind. And you can say even your free will come under this. Okay. So Manomay Kosh is the intellect mind which again govern your Pranamay Kosh. and your free will is dependent on it. Then the fourth layer is known as the intellect level, the higher intellect level, where your consciousness really travels beyond. That is called Vijnanmay Kosh. Vijnanmay, where you connect nature with the Atma, nature with the soul. That is called, you understand what are you, who you are, or who are you, why you have taken birth, what is the purpose of this birth, what is the purpose of taking birth and living in this world, why have you come here? Because each and every god, we in Hindu they say that we have about 36 crores, 360 million gods. So what are they? Gods are actually, if you get to see, we all have that. But we have to recognize who we are. We all have to take birth as a human being to understand what pain and everything we go through. That has been said. So we are all part of that. But we are ignorant. We don't know who we are, what we are. So in Vijnanmay Kosh, we get an introduction with ourselves. Who we are, what is our purpose. And then the final kosha is known as the Anandamay Kosha. In Anandamay, we understand what we are. We know who we are. We know that we have that bodily creator in us. And we actually mingle, we merge ourselves with that divine being, the ultimate divinity. And then we get enlightened. That is called Anandamay Kosha. We live in that kosha. So that, and all of it, it is connected with your chakras. So let's see the first kosha, that is called Annamay Kosha. What is it? How is it connected? And what does it do? Can we have the second video, Ravi? The Annamay Kosha.
Annamay Kosh. The outermost layer is the physical body, known as the gross body, Sthul Sharir or Annamay Kosh. It is made of food or earth and contains the senses and the organs of action. In this food vessel, the physical being is bound by birth and death. He ages, becomes sick, deteriorates, and dies. This vessel is composed of the elements or Panch Mahabhuta, earth, water, and fire. Their seats are respectively in Muladhara, Swadhisthana, and Manipur chakra. Earth and water elements are supplied by food. Fire transforms these food into useful materials to maintain the physical body. The element earth in the body is balanced by Muladhara chakra, water by Swadhisthana chakra, and fire by Manipur chakra.
So every jeev, whoever has taken birth, we all know that death is the ultimate. Whoever has taken birth, whether it's a 1 minute old baby or a 80-year-old person, has to die one day. We are all mortal beings. Our body is made up of 5 elements, and these 5 elements, once we die, it merges with the same in the universe. In those, it gets merged with the 5 elements, and each person has to go through 4 phases. Whoever has taken birth has to die. Whoever has taken birth will grow old, and with old age comes the diseases. We have to pass through these 4 phases, whether we like it or not. We have to go through it. It's not in our hand. Our body will decay, our body will get old, and will die and it will decay. And all the five elements will again, it disperse and will merge in the universe. The soul is the only thing which remains, it doesn't die. The soul has to be recognized by the jiva, by us. Our main purpose of this life to take birth is to understand that soul. Till we get the knowledge of that soul, we keep taking we keep moving in the cycle of death and birth. Birth, then growth, old age, diseases, death again and again, till we understand what is the purpose of our life. Before that, there is no, you cannot escape from this cycle of death and birth. We cannot. The only way to escape from this is to gain knowledge. And how do you gain knowledge? To gain knowledge is, it is important to do meditation every day. What does meditation do? Meditation gives you right kind of thought, the positive thought. It makes you happier. It makes you your mind more healthier. It makes your body more healthier, because we all know that mind and body are connected. If your mind is not happy, if you're having a negative thought all the time, it will reflect on your body, on your physical body. And most of the diseases are connected with your, I won't say faulty mind, but your stress level and all those things. You're too much of stress, you're too much of thought process or negative thought, it reflect on your body. So when you meditate, what happens? Your negative thought turns into the positive thought. When the positivity comes, your karma theory becomes more positive. You do good karma. Once the karma is good, your whole cycle changes, because then you are a happier being. You lead your life with happiness and joyfulness, and you do good for other people also, people around you, because you want to help them, because you are happier and you want to show the world how happiness can be gained. Once that happens, all the positive aspects start happening around you in your life. And once that happens, then we move from your Annamay Kosh, or that aura, and we move into that Pranmay Kosh, which is the second aura, which is again controlled by your lower mind. But again, we need to enter in that. As I said, a lot of people, they cannot, their consciousness remain in their lower level, that is the kosha, that is the Annamay Kosh. They do not go beyond that. They do not understand, because they are not exposed to that. They don't do a meditation or tap, or they are not in this right company, which actually can advise them rightly. And they lead their life with that so sadaripu, which is the part of Maya. Maya engulfs us, our mind, and it doesn't let us think straight, positive. And once that happens, then the karma also gets affected. And karmas are, again, they become defected. And our whole negative cycle starts with that. So let's understand now what is a Pranamay Kosh. So you will know how we move from Annamay to our conscious level, can move from Annamay to Pranamay Kosh. Ravi, can we have the third video, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Pranmay Kosh. The second layer is the vital body or the breath body called Pranmay Kosh. It is part of the subtle body, Sukshma Shari, in contrast to the gross body. The autonomous nervous system is under its control. Air is the food for this body, as breath is the life of beings. It is the vital life energy breath that organizes the body parts and provides movement for mental and physical expression. The impulses in our own bodies, which travel from the body to the brain and from the brain to the body, are of the physical prana. The same prana coordinates the activities of body and mind, rationality, emotions, and other aspects of our personality. While a person can easily control the movements of his gross body, the same is not possible in case of his breath body, unless he gains mastery over the movements of his breath. Pranmay Kosh is made from the elements of air and ether. Their seats are respectively in Anahat and Vishuddhi Chakra. Pran is a subtle energy that is absolutely necessary to keep the body alive and to transform food into fuel. This life energy is the Shakti of individualized consciousness. This Pranmay Kosh divides itself over the chakras to fulfill all necessary functions to keep the body alive.
Now, I know it is little deeper. Now, as I said, some of the people, they live in the conscious level of only Muladhara, Swadhisthana, and Manipur. They do not go beyond. Obviously, the breath body is important. Without that, the Annamaya Kosh will not survive. But breath body can be only of the very superficial part. That is, so many of us, we are not even aware how deep or how well are we breathing. Are you aware of that? We don't. So superficial our breathing is. We don't even deep breathly enough. You know, to be a proper yogi, it is important to breathe, to control our breath. How can you increase your life cycle, your life? They say we take birth where our each and every breath is counted. We take birth with counted breath. So how can we increase our life? By taking deep breath, by extending our breath. And the second kosha is in connection with your breath body. It is in connection with your pranamaya kosh, that the prana. And prana is controlled by your breathing. As I told you, that our breath, what happens, because your emotional body is also has an effect on your breath. So your breath gets affected whenever you are in contact with the 9 emotions. What are the 9 emotions? That is your anger, jealousy, love, your stress, then more. All these are your 9 emotions. And all these emotions have an effect on your breath body. So what happened when you're angry? Your breath becomes fast. What happened when you're stressed? So many times you have to keep taking deep breath because you forget that whether you're breathing in or not. Again, in jealousy, again, either your breath is fast or it's very slow. So all in love, again, your breath becomes fast. So all these 9 emotions are connected with your breath. And again, those 9 emotions it does control your mind. Your mind, the physical mind, is a slave of these 9 emotions. Now, if you want to control those emotions, what do you have to do? You have to control your breath. You have to control your prana. How can you control your prana? By your breathing process, you can control your prana. And what is the breathing process? It's a proper pranayama. Do regularly your omkar and see the effect on your emotional body. Once your emotional body is under your control, see your spiritual body. And once your spiritual body is under your control, then see how joyful, happy you are, how calm you are. You start accepting everything, whatever you cannot change. And there is no expectation. Once there is no expectation, there is no pain. And you don't feel bad. And when you start accepting whatever you cannot change, again, there is no pain, there is only joy. Because if you're not expecting whatever happens to you by your near and dear ones, it comes to you as a bonus and it gives you happiness. So by doing meditation and all, you start balancing between these two major things, a fact of your life, that is acceptance and expectation. And these are all connected with your emotional body. Emotional body is connected with your prana. Prana is connected with your breathing process. And breathing process is connected with your pranamaya kosha. Once we get to learn to control this pranamaya kosha or be to the pranamaya kosha, the deeper part of pranamaya kosha, you start expanding, moving upward to your Anahat chakra and to your Vishuddhi chakra, because these two chakra control your pranamaya kosha. But they are more higher. To survive, the Annamaya kosha is important. To survive, a certain part of pranamaya kosha is important because it's connected with your breath body. But to lead a happy life, higher part of pranamaya kosha, that is deeper to understand what is prana, how to control it, that comes from the higher part of your pranamaya kosha. Once you learn that, then it's very easy to enter into your manomaya kosha, the third part of your kosha, the third kosha of yours, or third aura of your body. Of your soul body. Now, what is that? Let's learn. I guess, Ravi, we will not be able to finish all the 5 koshas. So we will just do this one more, Manomaya. And in the next session, we can do the rest too. Okay? So do we have time, or shall we avoid this Manomaya?
I think we can do it, yeah.
Okay, so let's have that Manomaya kosha.
Okay.
Manomaya kosha. The third layer is the mental body called Manomaya kosha. What we can loosely term as the mind exists in 2 parts. Manomaya kosha is the dimension of the lower mind, incorporating intellect, reason, concept, and memory. Manomaya kosha is the energy field where the gross expression of mind occurs. When we relate mentally or emotionally with the world, then we are expressing Manomaya. Our feeling of love, hatred, depression, joy, jealousy, or compassion are played out of this level. Ego and its natural characteristics and needs are manifested in the domain of Manomaya. This is the vessel of Manas, cognitive mind, which is the substance of thinking and is directly connected with incoming sensory impressions through Agya Chakra, the seat of the senses. The Chitta, passive memory and active reflective mind, and Ahankar, self-awareness. Manomaya kosha is the center that receives and registers impressions. One can receive impressions from the physical world through the 5 physical senses, but it also receives impressions from the subtle world with its subtle senses, that is, the Panch Tanmatras.
So what is it? Yes, it is a physical mind. But understand one thing. We have so many people, we say they are very intelligent. But it's not important. It's not necessary that those intelligent people are also wise. And we do use the term wisely intelligent. That means their intellect body they are using wisely to, uh, for the enhancement of the people, of the world, of the or their city or their family or their country. We have so many people who are self-centered. They can be very intelligent, but they are very self-centered. So over here, we are talking about two kind of people. People who are intelligent, and the other one who are wisely intelligent. In Sanskrit, we call them Vivek. That they are intelligent at the same time. They are Viveki, they are wise. Whatever decision they take, it's not only it's not self-centered. They take in the welfare of other people also. So we have scientists who have created atomic bomb for the destruction. We have people who they were all very intelligent, and they made so many weapons out of their intelligent mind for the destruction of others. At the same time, we have people who created so many other things like computer for the well-being of others. So they are wisely intelligent. So now you have to understand what is that. This Manomay Kosh has two parts. As I said, intelligent, physical intelligence, which is limited. They are very intelligent, but it's limited because they cannot see beyond that. The welfare is only limited to themselves or their family, not not beyond that. And there are people who think about others also. They are not self-centered. So we are talking about those kind of people. Those people, when they do well-being for others, they are always happy. Because the happiness can be seen in them, because they make others happy, and by doing that, their inner being feel happy. That's what we are talking about. And this chakra, your Agya chakra again controls that. As I said, each and every chakra has, when you start meditating, each and every chakra has a negative quality and a positive quality. It depends on us what we want. When we meditate properly, again, all those positive qualities start expanding. It enters in us, and we start living with them. We have all positivity. It has been said the world went through 4 phases, that is 4 yugas. If you have heard about the yugas in the Hindu Shastra, they say that we rotate, the whole world rotate through 4 yugas. The first yuga is called the Satyug. Satyug, again, in which the demons and the gods, means goodness and the evilness, used to reside in 2 different planets in Satyug. Okay, they were in 2 different planets. Then after Satyug came the Treta Yuga. In Treta Yuga, the demon and the goodness resided on the same planet, but in different countries. So the example can be, if you have heard about the Ramayana, that is the Ram and Ravan. So Ram denotes the goodness, and Ravan denotes the evilness, the demon. Then came the Dwapar Yuga. In Dwapar Yuga, the demon and the god both resided. They both were present in the same family. So if you have heard about the Mahabharata, we had Pandav and Kauravas. Kaurav denotes the demon quality, and Pandavas the good quality, the godly quality. And they were present in the same family. Now today, it's a Kali Yuga, which we are living in. The Yuga, that is a Kali Yuga. And the Kali Yuga started about 5,000 years back. In Kali Yuga, demon and God both reside in the same person. So in all of us, we have demon, we have God, we have goodness, we have evilness. Now by doing tap, by doing meditation, by doing pranayama and all, what we do, we give positivity, we give more energy to our godly creator. And by not doing all things, and by doing bad deed and all, we give more energy to our demon, to our evil creature. So as I said, it depends on us, what we want in our life. And this aura, the aura start expanding once our consciousness start moving from one aura to other. It start expanding, and that's what we feel. When we meet people, so many people, you like. Why? Because their aura is very positive. So many people, when you meet, you don't like them. You don't like their company because their aura is negative. That's what the aura is all about. When you meditate in a group, your aura expands and it merges with everyone, and you start feeling it's a universal meditation that you become a part of. When you do meditation in the morning, the Brahma Muhurat, what happened? All the godly creatures are, godly beings are meditating at that time, and your aura gets mingled with that, with those godly beings, and your meditation become much big, deeper, and you feel happy, and you feel compelled, and you feel complete by doing meditation at that time. That's what the difference is. So in the next term, we'll be talking about the Vigyan mind, which again, the higher conscious level. And the final one is the Anandamay. And what happens and how it differentiates. So this Manomay again is governed by our Anahat Chakra and Vishuddhi Chakra. Okay? Sorry, Manomay is governed by our Agya Chakra. So your Annamay Kosh is governed by Muladhara, Swadhisthana, and your Manipur Chakra. Then your Pranmay Kosh is governed by your Anahata Chakra and Vishuddhi Chakra. Manomay Kosh is governed by your Agya Chakra. Okay? So now it's time to meditate, and then we'll have the question answer session because I've already taken so much of time, my God. So Ravi, shall we do only 18 minutes of meditation?
I'll have to look up that tape. Let's do 27.
So do we have, then there won't be any time for question answer session.
People who have...
Let me see if I have that 18 minutes. I think I should be having that 18 minutes.
If you have, then we can do that. Otherwise, if you have any query, we won't be having time.
Only the chakra meditation are we talking about, or pranayama?
It's a short meditation. It's called, it's a chakra meditation, and the time is only 18 minutes.
Yeah, it's
18
only 18.40. 18.40 minutes.
Yeah, that should be the chakra meditation.
Yeah, I can play that.
Okay, thank you.
Let me just... It's only audio. 1 second.
Sit with your back straight, with your hands in Gyan Mudra.
1 second, please.
Resting on your lip.
It's only...
Vipinji, it's only audio.
Okay,
that's great. That's the one I wanted.
Okay. I will play that.
Yeah.
Mark your positions. Sit with your back straight, with your hands in Gyan Mudra, resting on your lap. Close your eyes and relax. Relax every part of your body. Let's begin with Omkar. Begin. Now it is time for chakra meditation. Mooladhara chakra, located above the anus. Now, Bij Mantra, begin. Now, Swadhisthana, located just below the tailbone. Now, the Bij Mantra, begin. Vang. Vang. Wang. Next, Manipur chakra, located right behind our navel on the lumbar spine. Now, the beach mantras begin. It is time for Anahat now, located behind the heart on the path of the thoracic spine. The beach mantras begin. Yeah. Next, Vishuddhi, located right behind our Adam's apple on the path of the cervical spine. Now, beach mantras begin. Now, move up to the Agya Chakra, located between the eyebrows. Now, beach mantras begin. Finally, at Sahasrara, located at the crown of the head. Chant the beach mantra Soham silently. Begin. Now, at all the energy centers, the chakras are rotating in the clockwise direction. All are bright, balanced, and stimulated. The inner and outer body are in perfect balance, powerful, and secure. With that, we will end this meditation with the universal mantra Om. Begin. Rub your palms together, cup your eyes, and slowly open your eyes. Hari Om.
Hari Om. So we spoke about the auras, not all of them. We have to still yet discuss two more. And the consequences of this, how does it work? So in the next session, we'll talk, but if you have any queries, any question, I'm here to answer. Yes, aura and kosha are the same thing. Kosha is the Sanskrit word, aura is the English word.
How to breathe while doing chakras?
Normal breathing. Because once you are deeply into meditation, your breath will automatically become more deeper. So don't worry about that. That is the automatic thing.
Is one gifted with the ability to see auras, or can one acquire this?
Well, some people are gifted, I agree. And there are machines also, I'm told, that that can actually tell you how positive or how powerful your aura is. So some of the people, they can tell you, okay, by seeing your aura, they tell you that you have your Muladhara chakra has problem or your Manipur chakra has problem. They do tell you, they have that God gifted with them. But on an average, each and every human being can see the aura. So basically what you have to do, just normal aura, I'm saying, like, is it white or it is more darker in color? So you can actually place yourself or anyone against a white wall, okay? Remember that white wall. And then you have to concentrate on top of that person's head. And by concentrating after 2 to 3 minutes, you will see a line appearing around that person. And that appear line, it is 1 to 2 inch deep in depth. And if it is very bright, that means that person's aura is very bright and good. And if it's dull and that means it can happen if the person is suffering from diseases also or sickness. Then also the aura becomes more darker and grayer. So you can actually make out only the usual, the normal thing, not deeper. Some people do have God gift that they can see the aura, all the 7 colors of the aura, because our body is surrounded with that 7 colors, which are our aura.
The lotus that we are visualizing opening, is the lotus vertical or horizontal?
The lotus normally are the horizontal state, not vertical. This way. See, when the lotus open, the flower open, it opens like this. So you have seen a twister. In exactly that manner, the lotus, the energy moves in the body.
What is the connection of Bija mantras with chakras? How can one remember them?
As I said, Beach Mantra, it's very easy. I did explain to you all earlier. Beach mantras, like how we have radio and television, we have channels, different channels. Through the remote, we can change the channel, and the radio, we tune up our radio to get connected with that desired station. In the same way, when we chant the Beach mantras, what happens? We stimulate and vibrate the energy of that chakra. So each and every chakra has a sound denoted to that chakra. A sound vibration is actually denoted to that chakra. Like Muladhara chakra has lung. So when you chant it for a number of time, you can actually, after a few days or session, you can feel the vibration in that part of the body. Few of you must be experiencing it. By chanting the given mantra, you can actually feel the vibration in that part of the body. And how to memorize it? It's very simple. I said it's a little funny, but it's easy to memorize it. It is called the Lang Wang Rang is for the lower chakras. So if you take the first part, it is lover. It sounds like lover. So Lang Wang Rang, lover. And then we are always young at heart, young. Then we get hanged by the neck, hung, om, and so hum, you will never forget. So that's how you can memorize it.
Are these koshas the inner bodies which you say at the end of the meditation? Inner and outer bodies are in sync?
Well, you don't have to meditate on kosha, so it's, as such, it is just for your knowledge, because as we are going, we will be learning about the petal mantras later on. So I want you to gain knowledge, to know about these koshas, how they are connected with the chakras. Because everything, as I said earlier, in this universe is interconnected. Even the koshas are.
I think we have once again the same question about chakras. Are they horizontal or vertical? So
I did say they are all in the horizontal state, because that's how they move. They move just like the twister in the round, and they merge with each other.
So in your videos, you show them to be in vertical, and that is why I think people are confused.
No, because in the video, no, there is, if you have seen, there is an inset video also over there, which shows the horizontal. Because in the video, if I show in the picture, if I show it as horizontal, you will not understand the number of petals and everything. Because I have not created it in a 3D system. Maybe the 3D will do the justice.
Thank you. How long you have to do mudras before you start seeing any real effects on losing weight and stuff like that?
Mudras, again, what will mudra do? If you see your earth mudra or the sun mudra, what will it do? It basically, it increases your BMR, your digestion process, and that's how you and your juices and all, everything are secreted in a proper manner by doing those mudras. As I said, that each and every chakra, our fingertips are connected with our chakras. Our fingertips are the prana, the nadis have an ending, the nerve ending, which are on your fingertips, on your head, and on your toes and all. So when you connect certain mudras, you perform certain mudra, it has different effect on your body.
Is it possible to touch these koshas mentally while meditating?
You don't have to, because automatically when you meditate, you start expanding your koshas. Again, as I said earlier, that it is for your knowledge.
Can you repeat shortly the mudras again, please?
Mudras, will repeat it again. One session will dedicate again to mudras. Shortly mudra repeating, because as it is, we are above on our time. So not today, maybe some other session, we can have the repeat session of mudras.
I think that is, I have one more. Let's see.
Okay,
That
so
is all the questions we have for today. Thank you very much.
thank you, and once again, see you on next Friday.
We have a lot of new people today, so let me repeat my
that's
number.
the reason they want to know what exactly is it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Let
they
me.
must be wondering what is she talking about.
So my number is 832-228-7284. If you want to receive videos or be part of our group, please connect with me on that number. We will see everyone next week at the same time with the same login ID. Namaste. Thank you, Preeti ji.
Thank you. Thank you, Ravi.